very powerful thing. It can solve all your problems. Well, most of them anyway. But literally? Okay, so how many of you know what antiemetics are? Basically, they're drugs given to pregnant women to make them feel less nauseous. So a study was conducted on a group of pregnant women who were told they were being given antiemetics. Now, in accordance to what they had been told, these women did feel less nauseous and their stomachs showed an objective decrease in nausea-related movement. But here's the catch. What these women hadn't been told was that they had in fact been given an emetic, which should have increased the nausea. But the power of the belief they had in the treatment had actually reversed the pharmacological effects of the drug. That, my friends, is the power of the placebo. Now, why does such a thing happen? Why does something of no absolute therapeutic value can cure someone? Here is a basic hypothesis that when facing a situation or when in danger, our body goes into stress mode, releasing adrenaline and cortisol. But when that situation is over, our body slowly moves into the relaxation mode and starts recovering by producing hormones such as oxytocin or endorphins. Now, what the placebo does is lulls the mind into believing that they have reached that relaxation mode, and now the body goes into a self-treatment mode. To give you a basic example, you yourself might have found yourself correlating costly with quality. It was also found that placebo pills, which were priced higher, were found to be more effective. Again, they had no therapeutic value whatsoever. But that is true. And the opposite might also be sometimes true, where the patient does not have faith in the treatment. So let's say in a village where the patient does not trust allopathic medication, and he has been given that medication. So despite no cause for harm, he might actually get worse. So that is the nocebo effect. And there is much debate on the ethics, the use, and the disadvantage of placebo. But what is for sure is that there is something very powerful going on here. Might be the force, but something that can actually pave the way into cracking the code between mind and body connections. Thank you.
A really lovely presentation here, Priyanka, thank you. And I understood your explanation about how placebos can work. You can convince yourself that you're healing and your body relaxes and it has a positive effect. But how do we think that nocebos work? How is it your body can start harming itself if you think you've taken the medicine?
I do get that. And what is proposed in many of them. Now, all the time it might not work, which is also the case with the placebo. But what usually happens is that the body will start disregarding the treatment that it is being given. It will start treating it as a foreign element which it does not need. It might do that. Again, these are hypotheses, and this is a very gray area of science, and that's why this needs much research, that how can mind control the actual physical treatment being given. And that is the part that I am talking about, that when you know that some treatment is being given to you, and I know that it is not going to affect me, no matter how much I try, it won't affect me. Not always, but in some of the cases. And there have been studies with cancer, HIV, and one of my favorite is actually where bald men, which is sometimes a genetic condition, they started growing back hair. So that was quite, so there are examples, and that needs to be explored in a better way, so that we can actually figure out the exact connection between them.
Excellent. But you know, what you rightly said, actually you stole one of my questions in your answer. Anecdotes do not make for any proof for statistics, yes. Right? Statistical proof.
Yes.
So what you are citing mostly to me is appearing like an anecdote after anecdote.
Okay.
So every theory is sort of proven by its limits.
Yes.
Where it does work. So if I know how far I can push the placebo effect, for example, I would know. So can you give an interesting story about how that experiment would be ever done, or if not, why not?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. Actually, placebos are a very common thing, or used to be very common, in drug testing therapies. Like when we are testing drugs, when we want them to come to the market, we test it with the effective drug that we want to launch and the placebo, where we do get, again, signed consents from patient telling them the fact that they might be given a placebo. But we see the effectivity of the placebo treatment and the drug treatment, and based on that, we release the drug. But again, we are basing that on something that isn't there completely. So that is quite a, and if we are keeping that as a, as a category, as a area to judge effective drugs by, so why not do the opposite?
Very nice.
So,
Standard versus non-standard.
yes.
Or you looking for standard?
Yes, standard versus non-standard. So actually, when we are keeping it as a standard, so why not actually look into what the standard actually is doing? That might open up new areas of research.